Hello, my name is Natalie, Australian High Commission awarded Young Entrepreneur, Think City's AI Development A finalist, and the head of technology at UnBound, a technology focused on developing AI and AR technology as well as infrastructure for a better future. So, about 60% of the world lives in Asia. So, that's around 4.7 billion people in around 50 different countries. Since the creation of paper money, gunpowder, the toothbrush, Asia is actually now the fastest growing region in terms of both GDP and PPP. And all eyes continue to look east in the development and this innovation, as well as regulations, on the next biggest paradigm shift of the world, which is AI, artificial intelligence. So, in a nutshell, AI is actually the simulation of human intelligence, right? It has the ability to learn, it has the ability to reason, to correct, as well as to create. And this ability to manage thousands and even millions of tedious and repetitive administrative tasks, it generates imaginative literature and even art that sells for almost $500,000. But on the flip side, the truth is that large AI models are actually very, very expensive to develop and train. And even the most famous AI models that we know, like ChatGPT, it actually requires human intervention to function the way it does today. And in fact, both Meta and OpenAI, they employ Kenyan workers from Sama to filter harmful content produced by these AI systems. And they actually only pay them less than $2 an hour. And this actually causes mental harm to the employees and results in companies like Sama to actually cancel contracts with Meta. And this shows that AI systems in itself has a lot more to grow. But obviously, AI is an undeniable force of change and Asia is a great reflection of its growth, both with much potential for growth. So, despite the various economic development still stages of Asian countries, right? We have the ones that already developed, we have the developing as well as the underdeveloped. It has diverse industries, and the common denominator is that Asian AI market is actually the fastest growing in the world, right? It contributes to about 40% of all tech investments, and it expects around a volume of $215.3 billion, which surpassed that of the United States. And given Asia's reputation of risk adversity, it may act as a surprise to many people that 70% of APAC organizations are actually looking to commit their investments towards implementing AI into their daily operations. And of course, with preference towards allowing AI to actually grow its costs through softer regulations, which actually contrasts the Western countries' stringent approaches and strong governing recommendations. In fact, this can actually be seen in the EU or the European Union's new white paper on AI, where it actually allowed the first implementation of AI regulations in a broad application, right? So, hoping to converge all the AI regulations in a harmonical kind of a method. Um, but what's happening is it uses a risk based regulatory framework. And even after the global summit in the UK, many of the Western countries have actually started pressuring Western countries like Japan to start regulating its industry in view of like ethical risks such as discrimination, bias, as well as a fear of AI takeover. However, in Asia, the focus on the development and innovation, and as well as creating business-friendly regulations, actually juxtaposes that of the EU's harmonized AI regulation push. And some people even say that they are sort of defying the EU's standard of AI at the moment. Although today's conversation will actually focus more on not on the common ought before can ideology, but more on the Asian consequentialist growth of AI. So, the heterogeneous nature of Asia actually makes it hard to pinpoint specific industries on AI growth, especially in Asia. But for the sake of today's discussion, we'll be focusing on three industries that's applicable all across Asia, which is education, retail, and cities, or basically governments. And we'll be touching both the traditional predictive AI and the modern generative AI. So Mahatma Gandhi once said, right? Live as if you were to die tomorrow and learn as if you were to live forever. Education remains one of the most integral focuses in Asian development, right? With literacy rates steadily increasing, we're actually starting to look towards smart education and a big focus on the concept of adaptive tutoring and personalized learning, which basically is designing education that's suitable for each child's capacity, capability, and level. So this shows about a 53.2% growth in the usage of AI for learning from about 2019 till 2025. However, since the launch of OpenAI or basically ChatGPT, that number is actually expected to exponentially increase. And despite massive clapback on the use of AI in student assignments and even worries of plagiarism, top universities situated in Asia, such as Monash, so Monash actually has a campus in KL. It's actually using AI such as ChatGPT to actually generate in-class activity topics, such as ice-breaking sessions and even some of the assessment questions. And it's even allowing students to basically use ChatGPT with citation, of course, in university assessments as of this year, which is basically allowing their students to kind of learn how to surf the wave instead of fighting the ocean because ChatGPT's growth in itself is huge and is unavoidable. It's going to be part of our daily life. So thankfully, the education system here in Asia is actually looking to integrate it as opposed to fight it. On the other hand, the growth in this education market, it's actually opened a large market of over $360 billion by 2030. So that's in like 7 years. And this is for the need of tools, hardware, and software that's able to not only cater towards learning, but for actually upskilling teachers to include the use of AI into education. So this is things such as LMS systems. It's the systems for training teachers. It's the systems for marking students' reports and assessments, as well as to be able to determine each student's level and to see where they go from today onwards. Basically, creating a more holistic and customized learning experience for each student. So it's basically including the use of AI into education, teaching, and delivery to basically ensure future ready graduates. And many would say that we're currently in the golden age of AI development, right? So after which AI would become an integral part of our lives, as important as common sense. And perception be it that hopefully our schools are able to educate these basic skills, right? Like common sense, AI development, coding, into our future children, really promoting this future career ready students. So let's talk about retail, right? So, following the capitalistic nature of Asian retail businesses, investments into generative artificial intelligence, so generative AI, has actually outperformed that of its older brother, predictive AI, which is much of a shocker because in predictive AI, we're looking at things where the buzzwords will be like predictive art, generating new content, and things like this. So, Southeast Asian companies are looking to adopt generative AI that on almost the same par as that of US and Europe's large corporations. In fact, retail companies in Asia are looking to heavily invest in two things, right? AI virtual chatbots and virtual influencers, building customer relationships and personalizing this shopping experience through preference analysis and localizations, through functions such as language translations without the additional resource costs. Given the e-commerce retail in market in Asia is actually expected to reach about $1.89 trillion in 2023, companies in Asia has actively embedded technology like AI into their companies, with 50% of companies in Asia stating that they've invested in at least one type of AI technology. And notable AI developments in the retail industry is like companies such as VeraViews, right? They aid companies in tracking online advertising performances. They detect fake clicks activity, as well as being able to gain about $17 million in lost daily activity due to ad fraud. And when we're looking at brick and mortar retail companies, AI companies such as Pick and Go actually allowed companies to reduce on manpower and improve surveillance through AI powered cameras. that sends customer purchases and basically auto deduct payments from customer accounts. The growth in this retail space, be it online or even on ground, has become a necessary component in normalizing the use of AI in Asia. Even things such as virtual influences, virtual assistants are actually being used heavily in China. You can see this in their TikTok application, or basically Douyin, where you can actually see the rank in sales of virtual influencers. You can see music videos with virtual singers, or basically AI singers, as well as AI fashion influencers. And this has definitely normalized the use of AI in Asia, and it has also encouraged research and development into ensuring that AI can actually become a more affordable asset in the future. So let's talk about the last part, right? So governments, or basically cities. So in ancient Asia, governments would actually encourage societal adoption of acceptance of ideas through first adopting it themselves. So today, technology advancements always first start its common use in the government before becoming commonplace in society, right? We're looking at things such as AI. Even AI was actually initially used in the military. So predictive AI, or artificial intelligence, has always actually been used in Asian countries, but this has always been used in large scale natural disaster simulations as well as military analysis. And today it's actually grown towards the use of AI for city development, energy and water saving, as well as traffic and people management. And furthermore, countries in Asia has actually developed natural or national strategies towards encouraging AI development. So even countries in Malaysia were actually currently using traffic systems to detect traffic flow, to help with city planning, city simulations, as well as help redirect traffic here in Malaysia. So we can talk about some of the national strategies towards encouraging AI development, and this is actually stated by the Medium. So in Indonesia, they've actually launched a national AI strategy that will actually guide AI efforts up from 2020, so that's 3 years ago, up till 2045, which will highlight AI projects focused on education, research, health services, food security, mobility, smart cities, and public sector reforms. In fact, they've even created a virtual television anchor based off a real live news anchor, Faraha Indi. So you can see that definitely it is not only used in government projects, but it's definitely trickling down to common usage, even in the virtual television sector. Countries such as Malaysia, or the Malaysian government, has actually launched its AI roadmap. So it's called AIR Map in 2021, which actually uses the National AI Framework from Malaysia and AIF, an expansion of the National Big Data Analytics Frameworks through generative AI and predictive AI. In fact, the generative AI market is at about a $113 billion productive capacity for Malaysia, and is even implementing. Even Malaysia has even implemented its first AI-powered radio DJ nationwide. We're looking at Philippines. So the Philippines Department of Trade and Industry, which is the DTI, has unveiled a AI roadmap to guarantee that Philippines is actually going to benefit from emerging AI technology, estimated to contribute about $92 billion to the Philippines economy as of May 2021. Thailand. Thailand has its national AI ethics guidelines, which anchors from Digital Thailand, a 20-year national strategy for digital transformations, which actually includes AI adoption, with the Bangkok Metropolitan Administration even launched a AI-powered CCTV network to prevent motorcyclists from riding on footpaths, as well as ensuring compliance with traffic laws. On top of which, Singapore, with its AI Singapore, so AISG, has actually reached the most advanced overarching national policy, specifically driven to drive AI readiness and to regulate its deployment, which are about 700 million Singapore dollars invested into AI research, related research. In fact, AI was also identified as a key industry in China's Made in China 2025 industrial plan, in which it stated that China's goal is to become a global leader in this AI field by 2030. For Japan's current AI strategy, it actually puts AI as an integral part of its new society, and it intends to continue its R&D to achieve Society 5.0. So as we can see, as of the conversation we're having today, AI is definitely taking its steps in Asia towards growth. Definitely in terms of the regulatory approach, we're looking at a more business-friendly approach, so a more laissez-faire approach. But as of the conversation we're having today, the 10-member Association of Southeast Asian Nations, so ASEAN, they have actually agreed to develop ASEAN's guide on AI governance and ethics. So it's called ASEAN's AI Guide. Not much information actually has been released about it, but next year in 2024, I think led by Singapore, they're going to be following a more hands-off approach compared to the EU. To develop voluntary regulations. So these voluntary regulations will be more of, I think, a rights-based approach in a bid towards innovation and cultural relativism, ensuring that there is a mutual respect for all the countries in ASEAN to create this business-friendly approaches to AI regulation. However, just as the conversation today, we're having a lot about the growth of AI in Asia. We're definitely going to need to have the conversation of upskilling and education, especially since there is a lack of AI talent in Asia. So much so that it's actually posing a threat towards AI development. So even in countries such as China, with over 1 billion people, the shortfall of talent in AI is actually estimated in the millions. The lack of talent in Singapore, especially in AI sector, is actually causing the adoption of AI to slow down as well. As we've talked about on how AI is actually going to be part of our daily life. Hopefully, new stimulation will be provided by the governments in terms of education, whether it's financially or economically, will be provided by the governments into these sectors to actually ensure that businesses are able to grow in this sector and talent is able to be developed to ensure really business friendliness of Asia towards AI development. There is a lot of developments in the AI industry at the moment, and it will definitely require thought, change, and adaptability as industry in Asia continues to grow rapidly. It is basically our choice on whether we choose to adopt it or be left behind. All right. Thank you.